Good to have you with us. We begin tonight with the latest on the turmoil in Iraq. The Iraqi military says it's holding back the advance of Sunni rebels on the capital, Baghdad. Today, the Pentagon sent an aircraft carrier to the Gulf, where it will await possible orders for military intervention. Several cities across northwestern Iraq are under rebel control. The groups have set their sights on Baghdad, but rebel fighters have managed to get only within about 50 miles of the city. Imran Khan is on the ground in Baghdad with the latest.
In the last 24 hours, Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki has gone on the offensive. On Friday, he was in the city of Samarra, one of the holiest sites for Shia Muslims, where he delivered a message to all Iraqis.
I seriously and firmly say that by the name of God, even if our heads were turned into bombs, or our bodies turned into courses for tanks and vehicles to move on, we will not stop fighting them. So let them not to be diluted.
The Prime Minister also declared through a statement on his website that Cabinet has granted him unlimited powers to deal with the Sunni rebellion. It's a decision that some opposition politicians consider unconstitutional. But his allies are showing public support for his policies. The Iranian president says that Iran is willing to help if asked.
If the Iraqi government seeks assistance from us, we will review it. Though there has been no request for help so far, we are ready to provide them with the help within international law and upon the formal request of the Iraqi nation and the government.
But not all are in support of Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki's policies. The influential Sunni religious group, the Association of Muslim Scholars, has released a statement. In that statement, they say that the Sunni rebels have the right to march on Baghdad and seek regime change. However, they say that they must respect, the Sunni rebels must respect the holy shrines of Karbala and Najaf and not attack them. Over in Diyala province on the border with Iran, Sunni rebels have captured the town of Al-Adhim. They mounted that offensive from here, the town of Saadiya. Iraq's Air Force has also launched more airstrikes, this time in Salahuddin province, where it says it's hit rebel convoys and hideouts. The army says that it's killed hundreds of fighters in Salahuddin, Diyala and Anbar provinces. However, there's no way to independently verify those claims. Imran Khan, Aljazeera, Baghdad.
The USS George H.W. Bush aircraft carrier is now headed to the Gulf. The Defense Department says it's there just in case military options become required in Iraq. Yesterday, President Obama insisted he would not put U.S. troops on the ground. Today, Secretary of State John Kerry spoke with Iraq's foreign minister by phone. Kerry said the U.S. is reaching out to the international community and Iraq's regional neighbors to emphasize the threat that Iraq and the region are under, and the importance of coming to Iraq's aid at this critical juncture. For more on the reaction from the White House, we turn to Randall Pinkston in Washington.
President Obama says he wants to stop the momentum of the Islamic State in Iraq and the Levant, the ISIL. In just a few weeks, the ISIL managed to overrun a huge section of Iraq, including Mosul, Iraq's second largest city, Fallujah, Tikrit, and parts of Ramadi. It was a stunning defeat since ISIL's fighters are supposedly no more than 10,000. That's versus more than 50,000 Iraqi soldiers in the region who abandoned their posts and left their weapons and equipment for the enemy to take.
What we want is for the Iraqi forces to be able to retake this territory. And I think when we're talking about possible actions, as you heard the president said, one of the things any potential action should do is to bolster the capabilities of the Iraqis, provide some space for them to in some ways bring their army back together, but also taking the political steps necessary to build the climate to do so, I think it is very important as well.
Over the weekend, we've heard Iraqi officials saying that they are taking back some territory, but it is unclear just how much progress they've made or how much progress they can make without assistance from the U.S. Meanwhile, we know now that the U.S. has deployed an aircraft carrier and 2 naval vessels into the region. The deployment of the USS George Herbert Walker Bush and the 2 naval vessels is a very important symbolic move. As a practical matter, those 3 naval vessels will give the administration enhanced options should the president decide to order a military strike. The USS George H.W. Bush has a crew of 6,000. It's a floating military command center. It can launch jets and surveillance aircraft and rescue helicopters for missions over Iraq. The other 2 ships deployed to the Arabian Gulf are the guided missile cruiser Philippine Sea and the guided missile destroyer the Truxtun. Both the Philippine Sea and the Truxtun are equipped with Tomahawks, They are long-range missiles capable of hitting stationary or moving targets on land. So in addition to America's land-based air assets and the 35,000 U.S. military troops in the Middle East, the ships will add more options for possible military action. But at this point, it is important to stress that no military action has been ordered officially. The aircraft carrier and the two naval vessels are there to protect American lives and interests in Iraq.
Randall Pinkston in Washington. We'll have much more on the crisis in Iraq in just a few minutes when we take a deeper look. Iraqi journalist Ali Adid will join us, also international security expert Jim Walsh. That's coming up at 11:15 for a deeper look.